do it.
Let's do it.
Rupesh, here we are. We're in Las Vegas.
Yes, we are.
A few miles from San Francisco.
Yep.
A few miles from San Francisco. A few miles from London. A few miles from London as well. Always good to see you, my friend.
Yeah, same here.
You have the best stories, I have to say, and it's always a pleasure to chat with you. So here we are in Las Vegas, Black Hat USA 2025. Show floor is buzzing.
It is.
I mean, great
Look at all that.
presentations.
Yep.
A lot of
Yep.
people looking at demos here at the booth. Really good stuff. I know we're just getting started. You had a few days here, I think,
Yeah.
kind of meeting people and seeing some customers. What's the general vibe? Are people positive about the future of business operations with innovative technologies, with security and risk in mind, or are they afraid of what's coming?
I think the general sort of vibe is positive, right? In terms of if you look at what's happening in the broader global economy, technology investments continue to be at the forefront, and we're seeing that come through some of the earnings reports. And underneath that, there is the whole kind of cybersecurity industry that is, again, expanding, partly because the biggest transformation, evolution, forward-looking is the AI era, right? That is the most kind of seismic thing that is happening in our industry right now. And cybersecurity is going to play a very, very big role in making AI successful.
Yeah. So I have the privilege and pleasure of getting to chat with a number of CISOs, CISO dinners, and I recognize that when you're in a CISO setting, certainly security is kind of the topic. But I'm wondering your perspective, talking to organizations at the executive level across the board.
Right.
I still get a sense that security is attached or running alongside a lot of the innovations, as opposed to we're going to secure or deploy innovations that happen to be secure. It's a very fine line nuance there, but do you find that organizations are really thinking about risk as they're building, or are they building and securing kind of separate?
I feel like there is a sort of like a tale of two cities. So if you think about all of the work that the security leaders have done with the business leaders, is working out, right? Whether it is application security, network security, endpoint security, enterprises are more and more secure every day, secure by design. It's kind of like, work hand in hand. So that is happening. But when you think about the AI era that we are entering in, I don't feel that collaboration between, the mission to drive AI-related use cases that are secure, that are kind of powering the innovation. I think that's not happening. And part of it is...
A lot of skunk work still on AI. Of proof of concepts that end up being real.
Right. Proof of concept, people are launching. I was just talking with, 4 or 5 customers, enterprise customers. Earlier today, we had a roundtable, and a lot of them were like, hey, we got teams that have been chartered and deployed by our CEO, by our board. They have been given funding, and they've been asked to go sort of, build out the use cases that will benefit the business.
Right.
So those teams are off and running, and they have the budgets, and the security teams are now being kind of like brought into some of those conversations, but not, hand in hand yet.
Yeah.
And I think from a budget perspective, I feel like the budgets that are being provided to go do AI are far greater, and a lot of CISOs you talk to are like, hey, my budgets are more kind of flat. So I'm end up gonna shift.
They're not getting the wave of budget that the AI is getting even.
So the pace of AI and the budget's very significant. You look at even the job market, just the amount of open positions, etc. You don't see the same for AI security, as an example. So there's a little bit of catching up that I think we need to do.
All right, so now when we did our pre-event chat, we talked about a number of things. We looked at scraper bots, we looked at certainly APIs and services continue to be a thing, prompt injection, output manipulation, and all of those things somewhat technical in nature, right?
Yeah.
We're not talking about business operations. Those things are perhaps interfering with them. One of the other things we kind of touched on a little bit was that business operation aspect. So how do CISOs then perhaps leverage the insights you have working with so many customers, AI and other innovations that say, here are the levers you can pull. These are the scenarios we're seeing in customers that made that run in AI.
Yeah.
And now they're experiencing the exposure, they're experiencing the risk, hopefully not the breaches.
Right, yeah.
So what levers can CISOs pull from a business perspective so that they can get the funds to tackle the things from a technical perspective?
Yeah. I think that's a great question. And the way I would answer that is, let's take a couple of these scenarios, right?
Okay.
So we've talked about just the amount of AI bot activity, 150 billion kind of like AI bots on the network we see every day.
With a B.
Yeah, with a B, right? And what they're doing is that they're going to every single digital property, every single enterprise, scraping the information, bringing it back into the models, training, learning, building it out, etc. And then they are sort of like responding or answering to the end users. Mm-hmm. So many times, the businesses are not even getting the referrals or the leads that have to come from the search engines.
Interesting.
Right? So that is like, oh my God.
So your business is driven by search engine and market ads and
advertising. You're not getting it because, and some of these AI bots and the AI models are also starting to say, okay, I'm going to read the executive summary and then I'm going to rewrite some of the article and present it to the user because, they have become that powerful, that intelligent, etc. And so now we are starting to, so it's not just a CISO problem because it's nothing to do with, the classic security.
Right.
But what's happening is that these AI bots are scraping important content and impacting the business models for all of these companies. And a lot of these companies are not even prepared to say, okay, what does it look like in the new world?
Let's close that loop quick, and then we'll go on to how you help. Because just that marketing workflow.
Right.
So the search, the bots are producing the results, presenting a summary of this is what you've been looking for. You don't need to download that paper or that research or get the trial. You get your answer. Never touch the company.
Never touch the company.
No interaction with the organization.
Right.
The marketing leads drop.
Right.
Perhaps sales drop. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So very concerning, right? Because a lot of the businesses kind of leverage the internet to really kind of, catapult or accelerate how they would connect with their customers and the buying cycles and the conversions. Now all of that has been interrupted by the AI giants. And in some cases, the AI chatbots might just even respond to the end user and say, hey, my recommendation is XYZ product. So they're already influencing the whole buying cycle or the consuming cycle, which is very concerning.
Which can be manipulated.
There you go, right? It could be manipulated, it could be poisoned, it could be, played.
So how do you have the conversation with business leaders then to say, these are the scenarios you'll likely see, how do they uncover their own scenarios that are important to them?
So I think there are two aspects to it, right? One is that there are a lot of businesses that we work with to say, hey, we can provide some of the AI bot mitigation strategies. So you can block some of this kind of bots from scraping the information. We have product capabilities with Content Protector and others that are very advanced that can do the blocking. But in some cases, you might say, hey, let me go give them a message or something that says, I'm okay sharing this content because I want to be in the game.
Right.
But for this content, we need to have some kind of a commercial model, in place. So we see that with the publishing industry. We see that with a lot of companies that are promoting their products on their websites or on their mobile apps, etc. So it's a changing environment.
Right. Now, do these bots? Are they operating in an independent fashion, or are they also acting as a legitimate user, meaning logging in, gaining access, and things like that?
I think both, right? There are genuine search bots that want to kind of search the internet, some of the AI bots that are a little bit more aggressive, so they might, kind of find other ways to not even announce themselves. And we have seen Claude do that. We have seen other big companies do that to scrape the content. And it's I think it's very challenging, because of the fluidity and how the pace at which it is moving. These bots can also open accounts, and we are just at the tip of the agentic workflows. So if you think about the whole idea of an agentic workflow, is going to be that you are trusting an AI agent to open an account, to fulfill a requirement, to book a reservation, to share your credit card information, right? So all of these things kind of going through the entire connected economy is what the future is, and security has to play a very big role.
So traditional layers of protection and monitoring and alerting probably doesn't fly in this world, right? So how do you help organizations kind of get a sense of putting in, what are the policies? Because there's some things you can do from a policy perspective, as you were describing, but then there are controls and the monitoring and response. How do you help close that loop?
Yeah, that's a great question. So let's do a couple of specific areas. So every day you see all of the enterprises, rolling out what we call as conversational AI agents, or AI agents or chatbots that are on their website, that are on their mobile, that is interfacing with a user to book a airline ticket or get information on mortgage or get recommendations on products. All of this stuff is happening, and we see these interactions, the bad guys and the malicious adversaries are taking advantage of with prompt injection, with jailbreak, with kind of finding remote code execution, other things to like tinker around with those AI agents. So at Akamai, we have the firewall for AI capability, which is a purpose build that says, hey, if you have a conversational agent that is either externally facing or even internal to your organization, we can sit in line and provide you the details of the detections of what is happening on all of these sessions, right? And from that sessions, you can decide if you want to deny, or you want to monitor, or you want to modify, but at least you will have visibility, right? A lot of customers have all of these conversational agents out there, and the users are trusting it, right? So you're like, okay, somebody says, hey, give me your credit card, or give me the last 4 digits of your social. The user is like, hey, I'm comfortable doing that on the phone, and this chatbot is from the same company. I'm comfortable doing it because I trust the brand. So the whole, the trust of the brand is also very, very important. And you want to build the trust with the user, but keep the bad guys out.
Right. And to your point, organizations either play that game or they're going to get left behind.
They're going to get left behind,
Which means they're going to have to build agents. They're going to have to open up APIs and services that maybe they don't control the whole ecosystem. Maybe it's an interface. Maybe it's we can continue to use the travel service. Maybe there's a general search through an agent or a model that says, here are the agencies to consider. Here's a summary of what each one can provide. And then links to those agencies. And then those agencies have relationships, perhaps, or not, with organizations for airfare and hotels. And here's, what's your 5-day itinerary? How do you get there? Do you need travel? Do you need a rental car? And each one is an agent connecting back to a company.
Absolutely.
Which paints a huge, complex scenario of that's an ecosystem that nobody's really looking at holistically. There's all the little pieces. So how do we get our hands around that?
And what is the governance? What is the framework? Which is the industry body that says that everybody's going to work together. Right now, companies are probably pumping out MCPs, left, right, and center, internal, external, and saying, hey, I need to do it because my competitors are doing it. But is that MCP behind a web application firewall? Is it behind a firewall for AI? Is it, being monitored on the data exchanges, etc.? So I think a lot of these challenges are opening up faster than the CISOs on their teams can react to it.
Right.
And I am concerned, like I am a very kind of like pro when it comes to innovation and driving it forward. And I'll give you a couple of examples of my own team. So what we have done internally as a product engineering team has developed our own AI agents and our own AI attack insights to give to Akamai customers.
Okay.
So Akamai customers can log in and say, hey, talk to the WSAI agent and tell me where the bot attacks are happening. What happened in Europe versus America. You know, all of that, the AI agent can do the analysis and bring that back. Or, you know, our attack insights agent can tell them, hey, if you're an airline, these are the things happening in the airline industry.
Okay.
So a lot of powerful ways of changing the user experience, the customer experience.
Right.
But all of that has to be done with security at the center of it.
Yeah. And so that, I mean, that's interesting. So you have that data.
Yes.
And I know you, and it's a traditional thing in this industry to produce reports that demonstrate what's happening, what are the trends, what the future might look like.
Right.
You've exposed that data through agents and models now.
Right, yeah. In a very controlled,
but depending on your customer's situation.
Yep.
Question from the board, question from the executive leadership team, they can go in and just hit the news. What are we exposed to based on what you're seeing?
Yes, absolutely.
Very cool.
Absolutely. So we do that on a per customer basis. So we put all the security boundaries and provide that. But then, you know, we also show some of the spinning globe capabilities, which is global in nature, which then talks about how Akamai's platform is seeing everything on a global basis. So where are we seeing all the, you know, web application attacks? Where are we seeing the API attacks? Where are we seeing the bot attacks? And we have the ability to kind of zoom in, zoom out, you know, etc. on a global level. So very powerful threat intelligence, very powerful visualization, and then, you know, behind the authenticated layer, we have very customer-centric capabilities.
I want to see it.
Yes. Exciting
cool.
times. Yes.
Well, I want to thank you. You joined us on a webinar prior to this event, and you shared a lot of insights on what we might hear and see this week. And you also presented a forward-looking view of where things might be headed. I'm going to invite people to listen to that because there's a lot of great information. You have some great insights there. I want to use this last moment to maybe speak to the security leadership folks. How do they get? I feel we're in a place where security is forced to be the department of no or accept the risk. And I think there's a balance that can be had there. So how do security leaders have a conversation that says we want to be part of this, we don't want to stop you, but we want to help achieve the outcomes that you're getting.
So my message to the security leadership is the following, right? If you think about every enterprise, every company, you know, before it was like every company is a data company, every company is a tech company, every company is a software company, every company is an AI company now, right? And we cannot afford security to be an afterthought. Just the pace of digitization that is happening, right, is just insane. So we all need to come together as an industry, have the frameworks, have the governance, the risk, the knowledge sharing, but we need to push the boards that don't think of security as a line item on the budget. This is your brand, this is your future, this is your innovation engine, how fast can it go? So take all of that in mind.
Perfect. Rupesh, it's always a pleasure, my friend.
Yes, same here.
I really enjoy chatting with you.
Yes, same
all
here.
The time.
Yep.
Everybody, thanks for listening and watching this conversation with the one and only Rupesh Chokshi. And do connect to the Akamai team. Take his advice. Get the business's attention and bring security into all these AI innovations that are happening. It's an exciting time. Let's leverage the folks that know what's going on so we can achieve that success securely.
Yep, sounds good. We're here as a trusted partner. But thank you so much for having on this chit chat. Appreciate it.
Yes.
And a lot of good insights for the viewers, right?
Yeah, absolutely, always. And stay tuned, ITSPmagazine.com/BHUSA25 for all of our conversations here from Las Vegas. Thanks, everybody.